In this video, I'm going to be philosophizing on component parts and processes within direct perception. We don't perceive things all at once or in its entirety, even though we're having a unified multisensory experience in which we're engaging in different visuals in association with the sound bites of thought, and also with various tactile touch and sensation that we have, different olfactory smells or scents, and gustatory tastes that tend to be more subtle as we're engaging different moment-to-moment experience, and more salient mostly as we're engaging in more meaningful processes of ingestion as we're actually consuming food, rather than, say, ingestion processes of sight in which we're absorbing meaningful information through our retinas and our visual system, and consuming knowledge, engaging in meaningful processing in a different way that we can allowance more meaningful meaning interpretations through the component parts and processes that we perceive in our direct surroundings, within our internalization of meaningful information in our internal worlds, through the entradas de sensores, absorvido, específico, subjetivo, objetivo, relações, que é constructed in regards to específico, mente-corpo, conexões, que o saídas é always voluntário regarding específico approximations enunciados de pensamento, as we're engaging in thinking processes through our meaningful utterances of thought, that we're processing meaning into the direct precepts of self from our sensors. We aren't our sensors, we are more closer to the precepts of self and the preceptors that engage the meaningful information translations, and which we allowance more higher order cognition to engage a process of cognizing meaningful information from our perceptions. And our perceptions have meaningful, greater capacities to be able to connect ideas, more engaging cognitive flexibility and allowance for creativity to fill in gaps of meaningful information in nonlinear ways. Whereas sensors are more approximating the environment, yet do not have the capacities to engage the well-defined word. And we have to engage direct perception, the perception-dependent learning processes, to be able to engage that well-defined process and to be able to instantiate and then substantiate meaningful information from the component parts and processes that we're putting together within our capacities to think on the meaningful utterances of thought regarding B and D and X, in which we can engage the prior existing inputs that we're internalizing meaningful information from our own introspections into the voluntary outputs within the self and surrounds, that we're able to process meaningful information through written and recorded word that we can extend into voluntary perception, action, and behavior to the surrounding world on a piece of paper with a pen, and write out the words well defined and that have much more of a meaningful process in relation to developing the substantiated, well-defined terms to terminological definitions, as we're engaging in more consistency and intermission self-conducted learning in association with writing that word, and then also using that word in multiple ways that we've well-defined it and have created approximate calibrations of that word that have meaningfully similar structuring of that dynamical process that allows for more solidified meaning interpretations to develop that are objective and analytic in meaning. Analytic in meaning, meaning they're well defined and also calibrated as to be able to access easier meaningful information associated with easier access to knowledge that we've developed from prior existing voluntary perception, action, and behavior that we're coordinating to be able to calibrate meaningful information into easier to access knowledge in regards to its component parts and processes that we've creatively connected through perception, action, and or behavior. That's all I want to say for this video. Hope you have an awesome one. Keep on developing this episode.